What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
And today we are diving into Season 3 of Foundations. We're going into Episode 2. But before we do, welcome. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we are a show about shows. We never pretend to be experts. We just really love entertainment, specifically sci-fi, fantasy for me, but we have multiple genres that we all also dive into. And this is more of a discussion, so you can join us down in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to keep tuning in, hit subscribe. But I'm going to keep this one short today, and we're going to dive in because this was a great episode. So what'd you think?
It's weird to me still. I was kind of annoyed this episode with Dusk.
Yeah.
And the self-preservation that he's just going through. He's like one after another begging for his life.
Complete 180 from how he was trying to be perceived in episode 1. If you remember, him and Day are standing there watching the holograph of like the previous Dusks being euthanized. And he even says to him, I wouldn't run. I would just face my death with honor. Now you see him in the next episode doing everything he can to not face his end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that is because the universe is about to end pretty much for them, or humanity, based on what they're seeing and being told by our super intelligence.
The Prime Radiant, yeah, the little Q thing. The Prime Radiant is telling us that we have 4 months for humanity. You're correct. I think it's a major factor, 100%. I do think that anyone faced with their end may have some issues with that, especially if they feel like they maybe didn't fulfill their purpose or left things undone, which they joke with him that he's the great conciliator, that all he ever did was try to make peace and make everybody happy. He was a great people pleaser, right? And they joke with him about how he is that person. So maybe he does have some unresolved things, or maybe he just does fear death. Or, as you said, it could be that humanity may end in 4 months and he thinks he's incredibly valuable to maybe stop that, or ultimately too just wants to be there at the end of it all.
Well, yeah, if you're scheduled to die in 10 days and let's just say that you were cool with it. And then you come to find out that in 4 months, everything has a possibility of it. Why wouldn't you want to stick around just to be like, oh, we're all going to be gone anyway? What's the point?
Yeah, but then you have letting him know that one of her many functions is being a perfect clock. Yeah. And that no matter what, as long as Demerzel has her way, he will die in 10 days. Yeah. So now he's scrambling, trying to find ways to, circumvent that so that Demerzel doesn't have to do it. But
he fucking hates her.
Did you notice it in this episode where
a lot more?
A thing? Or no, a tool. He said, no, toy. He says that toy taught this toy, or whatever he said, that tool taught this tool. He never refers to her by her name or as if she's like a sentient thing. It's it, or tool, or toy.
Which is very different from the other iterations that we saw before we did the time jump again.
Yeah, he was in love with her, basically.
Yeah.
Well, at least lusted after her very heavily in season 2. Which, yeah, it's a complete 180. I think this is probably the most fun I'm enjoying this day. Like, this version of him, where he's so aware of what's going on around him that he's, ultimately said, fuck, I have no control. I'm just going to, live out my life and just be me. And, yeah, it's interesting. But, as we know, you never start someone at the bottom unless they're going to have an arc to the top. So I have a feeling this day is going to be one of the ones to really follow and keep an eye on, because he has the capacity for having an amazing story arc based on where he's starting.
So, concerning thing, I know this is at the end, but the big fucking mega weapon.
Yeah.
First time, as soon as they showed what it was able to do, I was like, you fucking idiots. The Mule's going to use that shit, ain't he?
I mean, that's a real possibility, right?
Well, otherwise, why would they show us that big thing at the beginning of him turning the ships against each other?
100%. So we know that he has very advanced mental capabilities. Yeah. But we also learned in this episode, in that crazy dining room scene that we're going to talk about, that he's limited, that there is a toll it takes on him to do it. And so he's limited in what he can do. And so over the years, he's figured out ways to manipulate people without having to use his power on everybody. So
hence the demonstration.
My question would be, then he wouldn't necessarily have to be powerful enough to take over the entire weapon. He would just have to be powerful enough to take over the 3 guys that control the controls.
Or the one in charge, like he did with the chop. Is like, she's in charge. So only need to make sure that she's complicit and all.
As long as you have, soldiers that completely listen to every order without hesitation, then that would work too. Absolutely, yeah. So yes, they basically built their own end if the Mule can get his hands on it, for sure. It is a star killer, right? It's the 2025 Death Star, which is way cooler than a Death Star, obviously. But yeah.
No, planet killer.
It's a planet killer, right? It's the equivalent. It's the end all be all. They found a way to harness the energy of the outside of a black hole, right? They're like, the inside's too chaotic, but we can siphon the outside, can use it, and they like basically collapse it into that container and shoot it out. So yeah, that's a real issue now. And of course, Dusk thinks he's helping out in his dynasty and making sure that his empire lives on. I don't think anyone yet understands the full capacity of what the Mule can do. Right now, he's kind of just this pirate. I don't think even Day, who he's about to find out, because obviously we know now he's working with Gale and the Foundation, and Gale is in tune to him because she's also a Mentalic, but I don't think anyone that we saw in this episode other than Gale and the Mentalics really know what Mule is capable of when it comes to like being able to persuade and coerce. So Calli she's a recurring character. So we meet her in season 1 as a human, and she helps Harry build the Prime Radiant. Like, she's a huge component. She's like a scientist, like a huge, intelligent, like...
But what the fuck is she now?
That is something we definitely need to dive into, because we meet her in season 2, and it seems like she's almost an AI, like Harry is inside the vault. Seems almost very similar to that. But then she gives Harry a body, and that's technology we're not familiar with, being able to like take someone's consciousness from an AI and plant it into a new body. I haven't seen that in the show yet, up to that point. And so like they have some advanced technology on that planet that we don't know about. Then we meet her in season 3, and it seems like she's even more advanced now. And the thing that really stood out to me the most, and maybe you caught it too because you have an eye for detail, is when she opens that portal. She almost does like the whole red Terminator eye thing. And I think that she is a robot. Like, I think that there are a society of advanced cybernetics that live on that planet underground. And because remember they said their whole program now is to just make sure
humanity survives.
Right. That's their only goal. Right. And so they're working behind the scenes with certain people, keeping themselves hidden, talking to like only Harry and only Gale, and only certain people are knowing about them. They're helping them keep humanity alive while also keeping themselves preserved, because robots aren't supposed to exist.
So they're like the Watchers from Marvel?
Yeah, but not a cosmic power on that level, but yes, yeah.
It feels like she's reached like some ascension magic.
She can open a wormhole or a gateway to another planet without folding space, without advanced, like, I've never seen anyone do that. That's a new
Dusk
technology.
even said
that's a new technology.
Dusk even mentioned that. He's like, yeah, how the fuck did you just do this with none of this other technology stuff? We're gonna have to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then he just walks through with her.
Well, you need Harry, because it was Harry in that scene.
Oh, Harry, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. She's a very interesting character that...
When he was as old as he was, it threw me off.
Yeah,
I think that's why I called him Dusk.
But a lot of mystery around her, and without reading the books and really having all the lore around like where this goes and the other factions that are involved later, I just have this hunch based on that red eye. Like, I get such Terminator vibes. I'm like, dude, she's a robot.
What if she turns Harry into a version like her?
Yeah, I don't...
With, I guess, maybe more reeled in power, like less powerful, but just so that he can keep doing the things he needs to do.
I don't know, because he asks her, can I get another reprieve? Like, hey, you got another thing for me to keep me going?
Like, this was it.
Yeah, this body was the only one I had for you. So I don't know. I think his AI consciousness, like the Prime Radiant, like everything he's built will continue on, but the physical Harry that we know is going to be gone.
Well, that would stand if he was put into like an android type body anyway.
Androids could be reintroduced. Like, that's a real thing. And if that happens, that's the answer to the Mule, because the Mule can control sentient life. He can manipulate minds. He can't control a robot, as far as I understand. Like, that's not how that works. And they don't have human minds. It's not like it's not like Murderbot where half of them's human, half of them's robot.
Yeah.
They're completely robot. So, or cybernetic, whatever you want to call it.
So was there more to that skin, the game line? Because that was the whole thing, was making sure that he had skin in the game.
Yeah, I don't think she's human, so she can never have skin in the game. That's the thing.
Okay.
That's where I think she was going with that. But I don't know. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. You guys always have the best theories and opinions as well, so I want to hear yours.
Oh, and what was the one guy from the first episode where he took the badge thing and took the ship and went to go hunt the mule? What was his name again? Because we got those influencers that are like royalty that he is now now coercing into the plot against me.
His name is slipping my mind.
You know who I'm talking about, though, right?
Absolutely, yeah. He's part of the intelligence branch. He's like a spy, basically. And yes, you were right. In episode 1, he kind of steals the ship. He's not supposed to go.
Yeah.
Now he's there. The influencers that he meets, that's a descendant of the dude with the button that makes you switch bodies, like switch places.
Is it?
Do you remember him?
Vaguely.
He's his descendant.
Okay. I feel like you're going to add more to that.
Well, that's the only, like, there's a connection and a relevance to that. He's basically riding off the fame of, his great ancestors' deed. What do you say? Pierce the skin of the Empire or pierce the Empire. So he was the one who sends him out the airlock. Well, no, his technology sends him out the airlock. It's the other general that he fights, the lieutenant, whatever he was.
So I found it very interesting that the husband influencer, how dumb they appear, and how obviously they're fucking spoiled as hell, right? But how dumb they lead themselves to be. But the moment he starts going over the plan, he's like, oh, why would you do that unless? And he's like, oh, and how quickly he discovered the intentions behind it, that they're really quite clever. And so he is way more intelligent than they led us to believe when they first introduced them in this episode.
I think it comes down to, yes, I agree. And I think it comes down to the fact that there are different types of intelligence, right? They are not book smart, but he can read people, right? So he's got a little sense of people smarts. I wouldn't say he has street smarts because he kind of is an idiot. He will end up, if he continues down the path of the way he's going, he would get himself in trouble with the mule because he's not smart enough to hide that stuff, and the mule can read your mind. So that's basically over. But yeah, I think it's funny. It's a funny take, I don't know, jab, I would say, at the way social media is today and how it's just fake. It's completely fake, right? Because the people they're being on those cameras that they have and the way they're interacting is not who they are behind the scenes at all. And so I think that's just a nice poke at social media influencers and just kind of the world we live in now.
Okay. And then let's go back to, let's see if you get this name. The one chick that got woken up alone to the deaf guy.
Gail. Her name's Gail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so you had her since season 1.
No, but still.
Yeah.
You had the other one.
I still can't remember the smuggler guy name. What is his name?
I was trying to give you a softball there so you could start getting names back.
Yeah, my brain's usually pretty good at this, but
so when she wakes up, she comes to find out Harry's been up and has pretty much been aged like crazy.
Obermallow. He was one of the heroes of the second crisis. And this is his descendant who is basically just riding the coattails of the hero.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gail is now talking to the leader of the second, what they called?
Second Foundation.
Second Foundation, yeah. Okay, Foundation was the word I was looking for. The name of the fucking show, right?
Yep. There you go.
All right, so it's talking to the new leader of the Second Foundation who happens to be deaf and speaks only...
He's mute, not deaf.
Oh.
He can hear, he can't speak.
My bad.
Yes.
I reversed it.
Yeah.
So he is speaking in sign. He has a translator when she first comes out. But it looks like Gail and him are going to become real good friends.
Yeah, I mean, she's already learning sign language to speak to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got he's got the wizard vibe to him.
Yeah, and Harry, we haven't really met him or know anything about him, and he doesn't speak normally. So there's not long dialogue already with him, right? But I think Harry left off. He said, you're really going to like him. And so if Harry's given him the nod in good faith, I think you're right. He's going to have more intelligence and wisdom than maybe his appearance and clothes let on, right? Because he's kind of like a raggedy looking wizard right now. But yeah, I think
just in the future society, if a wizard were in future, that would be him right there.
Fair enough. And I think he's going to have more of a crucial role and maybe not crucial role, but more of a crucial information for Gail than, he'll replace Harry's information kind of.
I also thought it was kind of funny that when Harry was disappeared and Gail's like, I feel like I want to make a statue for him. And then the wizard man is kind of just like, well, he kind of beat you to it. Come on.
So this is one thing I want to propose to the audience as well as you. In this episode, we got to see that there was the 150-year gap. 151 years. In this episode, we got to see last episode, it was 152 years. They jumped ahead. I said 100 and something, but it was off. But we got to see that basically every year they wake up for a couple of weeks and then they realize that wasn't going to work. So Harry stays away. What I want to talk about is that gap. That big gap. Harry's the only one awake and then doesn't wake up gap, right? So there's at least 4 years that she's consecutively asleep. And then there's he says there's 151 years that passed since your first sleep cycle, which Harry did go to that sleep cycle as well. But then there's another 4-year gap where Harry's just doing whatever Harry does by himself. And based on how he aged, I think it's even longer than that. So what did Harry do with all that time? Where did everybody that was on that planet go?
I don't know, but
Why are there only statues?
during that time was also how he made the crystal thing, the Prime Radiant.
No, that's way in the past.
Then why did he say that he was just able to upload all this information then?
He may have updated it.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what they were talking.
Prime Radiant was made way back.
I thought so,
Yeah.
but it made it seem like this was an upgraded version.
Maybe upgraded, yes, but not new.
Okay, so the way I was thinking about it was maybe the first version 1 is the one that is in the Android or the AI chick, right?
Yes.
That'd be version 1.
Then there was a copy of it.
Okay.
There was always 2 in existence.
So is this a third?
Because one the Android chick has, and the other one Gale had.
Okay, but is this the third?
It may be.
That's what I'm asking.
Did Harry make a new one in that time period? Did he make a new Prime Radiant so that he could have one? That's a great question. I didn't catch that.
That's what I was wondering the whole time. That's like, is that like brand new?
Yeah.
Because she was just as shocked to see this.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if these statues have any relevance. Like, did he hide information in them or like messages for her now that he's gone? Like, are they really just like memorials? Are they really just, to honor them and keep them going on? Or,
Oh, he said he can't see them up here anymore, but because of the statues, he can now feel them here.
yes, I get that sentiment. I think there's deeper meaning to that. He's starting to forget things, and so he's hiding them in the statue so that he or Gale can always know it. I think there might be a connection there. I also have a weird thing going on between the Mule and Harry, because the Mule's like sole purpose right now is to find the second foundation and find Harry. Like, that's what he wants to do.
Does he want to destroy Harry or help Harry?
Don't know. And seems like destroy. Seems like he's mad at him for something. Seems like he needs to destroy it or take it over.
He kind of seems mad at everything.
True. He's kind of unhinged. Very chaotic villain, which I kind of like. It's an interesting type of villain. The thing I'm interested in most, though, is that why specifically the Foundation? He's already taking over. He's already taken over a planet. He's already started his armada, his stuff. So, like, why is Harry such a big issue to him? He doesn't have a Prime Radiant, so he doesn't know all of these things, I don't think. And so why does he want Harry in the Foundation so bad? And when he does, when he's in the dining room and he's doing that whole display with the former leader's little daughter and has her hold the gun to her head because she's under control, even though there's no bullets in it, he mentions multiple times that he's going to make them love him, that you will love me. Everyone's going to love me. The universe will love me. He's like a little kid searching for someone to love him.
Is he one of possibly Harry's children from, what they called again, the one with the power?
The Mentalics.
The Mentalics, yeah. Could that be a child, the Mule be a child of Harry and one of the women that is a Mentalic from brief history he's awake? Because he's alive a long time. Maybe that's why he stayed out, was because he fell in love.
Again, what happened in that period of time where when he didn't wake up Gale and he was basically just running things?
So the Mule could be his kid seeking daddy's love.
It could be the self-fulfilling prophecy. They have been fighting and building, like doing everything they can to fight and do something about this guy in the future who never would have existed unless they created him.
Ooh, fun.
What do you guys think? Scene with the queen.
Yeah, the child makes him put the fucking gun to her head.
Oh, you're calling her a queen. Okay. I just didn't refer to her as a queen, so I didn't know what you meant.
Oh, I thought that's what she would be now that her dad's dead. Because it's very royalty vibes.
Yeah, she's definitely the daughter of him. But what technically she would be, I don't know. Because I don't think he was a king. He was just like the lord or ruler of that planet.
I didn't know what they call her.
She's royalty. And you brought that scene up. I had mentioned it, briefly in reference to a couple other things. What about that scene was most powerful to you? I've been talking so much.
The fucking visual of a child holding a gun to her head. And what's that thing she kept saying?
It would be like,
more than ever or something like that.
Yeah, more than anything.
More than anything. Because Mule kept pointing that out over and over again. More than everything. More than everything. How about that?
Yeah.
And the way the one woman, the Mule is like on 3, you're going to do it, right? You're going to have a lapse in judgment. It's going to feel like a great idea. As soon as I get to 3, you're going to shoot yourself in the head. And he goes 1, 2, and then the woman said 3 out loud. Did the Mule do that, or did she say that out of fear? Like, she was focusing so much on 3 that she's freaking out? but I feel like he slipped the idea in her because he saw her waver and saw that she might be the weak one that he could fuck with in that moment.
Yeah.
And so gets her to say 3. That's why she shudders after she says 3 and realizes that the gun didn't go off.
It's a hell of a display of power if he did it that way. I perceived it as like anxiety, nerves, fear, maybe even a bit of compassion, right? Like, I don't know. At that point, she was just trying to, I don't know how to think like that. So I'm just trying to think. But yeah, maybe. What do you guys think in the comments? Was that all part of his plan?
That's fucking disturbing all hell for me.
I mean, if you want to get people in line, that's a display. I mean, it works, right? It worked.
Yep. And he went on to, but y'all gonna love me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And he definitely promised her, the little girl, that she could still kill herself later. So she's still under like the trance of, I need to kill myself. He never broke that. I wonder if over time it breaks, or if they're like the last thing he imprints in their mind is like the sole mission.
I don't know.
Interesting to see how that unfolds.
But it was like a little kid that wanted to play with a toy, and he was like, yeah, don't worry. I'll let you do it later. I promise.
Yeah. I think that one more thing with Day is Day's trying to not skirt his duties as we've seen, but he's actually trying to like leave. He doesn't want to be on the surface anymore. He's trying to find passage down to the lower levels to where his, consort's song is from. And I think what we saw with him and the guards playing poker, where he was like cheating to lose.
Yeah, but like an attempt to be like, hey, I've got something over your head now. I've helped you out. You helped me out.
I think it's more of a compassion thing. Like, hey, not necessarily compassion, but hey, I've got all this money that I don't care about. You've already got a bunch of it. How would you like even more if you help me get down here? Yeah, I think he's working his way. I don't think he's doing that. I think that's all part of his plan to get the hell where he wants to go.
I agree.
One last thing I do want to bring up, and definitely would love to hear the audience's opinion on this. Do you think Demerzel is truly blind to everything that's going on around her? She has eyes everywhere. She's incredibly intelligent, has basically a supercomputer, and there's nothing that goes on inside Empire that she doesn't know about. And so does she know that Dusk built a super weapon, that Dawn's working with the Foundation, that Day is trying to run away? Like, does she know all of these things? And because maybe the Prime Radian is showing her not to, she's not doing anything about it? I'm curious to know what you guys think. But other than that, that's a wrap for this episode. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do so. And if you want to keep joining us, we have a whole playlist you can check out right here. And we'll see you on that later. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.